Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. It's almost okay, like no, no, the jester was the first comedian, right?
Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Marnie Bragg. Marnie, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
And hi there. My name is Marnie Bragg. I'm a native Detroiter. I am an actor, I'm a writer, and I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm also a licensed foodie and a certified sandwich connoisseur.
Oh, how about that? So I was awesome with the stand-up comedian. Licensed foodie?
Yes,
What is this?
I'm a professional foodie. I know all about food. I love food,
Okay.
love to eat food, I love to talk about food, I love to cook food.
I just have to ask, how do you get a license?
I gave it to myself
Okay.
after
Well, now
doing
you got,
research. Yes,
so now you have to offer the service to others,
I
right?
certainly can. Yes, I can start with you. If you want to get licensed as a foodie, I can certify you.
All right. See, now we got it. All right. Well, you ready to
Yeah.
get into it?
I'm ready to get into it. Let's
All
talk.
right. Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see the 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So, Marnie, do you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
That's a good question. Okay, yeah, because it's almost like similar to like the squares and rectangles, like when we talk about like in geometry,
Okay.
like all squares are rectangles or all rectangles are square or something like that. So all comics are comedians. Is that it? So like you
Well,
start
so
off.
so I started with this whole differentiation because professionals, others brought this up and they really defined it. And so I'm expanding on that. I actually didn't come up with this myself. And so that's what I'm bringing is this idea to everybody else. So, well, let's just get into it deeper with the next question. So it's about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
We're talking about comedians.
Well, this will help define the difference between the comic and comedian. So, yes, I'm saying comedian, but if you see that perhaps it makes more sense to define the comic in that, then please do.
Okay, so how much of the like their personality is in there?
Exactly. How much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
I think that their real self is the foundation, and then the character part of them is like they're like tangents, derivations
Hmm.
of the personality. That's what I
So
think.
there, sure. So there is one way that others have also defined the comic versus the comedian as the comic is external, right, telling jokes about the outside, and the comedian is internal, telling jokes about the inside. So
Okay.
from that perspective, does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
Oh no, authenticity matters, and it's going to show, and people are going to be able to tell and see if you're being authentic.
So what
Because when
about
you think
illusion?
about comedy, it's
Uh,
what is comedy? Comedy is kind of like it's like truth and time, right? It's like a certain amount of truth and then like a certain amount of time, and then it becomes funny.
Funny. I agree.
So
So
that's
I wrote that down somewhere. Who said that was? I know who this was. This was Woody Allen.
okay.
Yes, yes, it is the Woody Allen quote. So time plus, what was
Like,
it?
oh, actually, I think it was it. I think it's a tragedy. Is it like tragedy plus time
Oh, that might
equals
be it.
comedy?
Tragedy.
Something,
That might
something
be
like
it.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So something about this Woody Allen has something plus time equals comedy. So all right.
That's deep. That's deep.
So yeah, well, I didn't come up with it. I'm just recording the news. So
Yeah,
punching up, right? So punching up versus punching down. Where do comics versus comedians stand on this? So let me put it in some historical context.
yeah.
Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the
Beady,
court
beady, beady, beady.
jester?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. It's almost okay. Like, no, no, the jester was the first comedian, right?
I don't know if this situation ever happened. That's why it's a kind of a theoretical rereading of history. So that's, from my perspective. I'm just curious if
Yeah.
you've considered this as a possibility in reality in the history of the world.
Possibly. Hey, tragedy plus time equals comedy.
I think that's the quote. You should double check. So, is the audience agreement with the comedian a form of permission or alignment?
Does the audience agree with, I mean, the
How does
audience
the audience?
agree?
Uh-huh. How does the audience agree? Is it a form of permission or alignment?
Hmm. You know what? It's more alignment because like when you can relate to what they're saying,
Hmm.
that's what makes it funny.
Okay.
So I say it
That
more
only
of
means,
alignment.
of course, I generally would agree. The only reason why I say permission is because, well, a lot of people they don't want to tell a joke or be funny unless it's in an environment where that's allowed, right?
Okay. You got to
In
read the
this,
room, so to
you
speak. You
got to
don't
read
want
the
to kind of,
room. You got to
yeah,
read the room and you got to read the world, right? So let's put it in a different perspective. So, cultural translation of comedy. How do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
exactly, because some people find certain things offensive. Some people can't relate to it. They don't understand it. So that's why those cultural differences and nuances, and people are like, I don't get it. It's not funny. Or like, I can't relate to that. What are you talking about? So yeah, you got to read the room. You got to know your audience.
So I think that's the two things is I don't get it, therefore it's not funny. And, it doesn't, you need permission. If you don't get it, it's definitely an alignment issue, right? If you're
Mhm.
speaking above their head. So is truth the meaning of facts?
Truth, the meaning of facts.
It's a trick question. Not really, but
I think what is truth, the meaning of facts? Is truth the meaning of facts? I don't. Truth is just the truth.
say
That's
again.
it. I said truth is just the truth. That's it.
But how
Truth
but how do you define the truth?
through research.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with it. How do you do the research? Like who's doing the research?
Who's doing the research? Scientists and trustworthy people.
Ah, okay. I see. All right. So that sounds like the meaning is with the scientists.
Yes, which is a
Okay.
form of art. So artists and scientists, they work together.
Okay. I agree with that. So would you say that comics are more universal while comedians are more culturally specific?
That makes sense.
Right.
Because you said because comics they tell funny stories.
Well, they're external, I would say. I would argue.
Yeah, or
Like
universal.
telling jokes about the outside than themselves. But of course, the comedian is telling jokes about themselves. So what if the comedian becomes universal by telling
Mm,
jokes about themselves? Is that a new universe?
they're they're evolving.
I would say if they've become that global. But
Yep.
I would. But if you agree that the comic evolves into the comedian, do you see that as feasible?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because it's a
Okay.
form of art and you're getting to know yourself more. You have that self-awareness and you're able to understand people and the world and you can make it funny. And you can make
All
it
right.
relatable to a lot of people.
So, how about crowd work versus crafted work? So, if comics riff like influencers in the comments section and comedians perform like in reaction videos, where is the sweet spot?
Oh. because
This is the
both, like, yeah, that their crowd work and then crafted work, they both take skill. And I think when you've reached a certain pinnacle, you can do both, and you do
well,
both well.
yes, but if you're doing both, well, how do you do both? I mean, you can't do both at the same time, can you? You have to, oscillate between the two, right?
That's very true. And an experienced and very skilled comedian can do both, and that takes time and experience. It
It
really does.
sure, it sure does. That's why I'm asking the question because I haven't figured that out. So
Yeah, how
what
do they
happens
do it?
when a right? So what happens when a comic leans too much into crowd work or when a comedian gets heckled?
Ah, okay. So leaning too much into crowd work, I don't know. That might be kind of a gift because
Hmm.
that person is just really good at improv and being able to think on their feet. So they can turn that into a 30-minute set if they can, but they shouldn't rely just only on crowd work. And same with the crafted, that polished speech or that polished set that you have. You should be able to incorporate crowd work as well because you never know what's going to happen. It's essentially live theater.
Do you see it as a speech? I mean, you do stand up yourself, right?
That's true. Yep. In a sense, it is like a speech. It's like a humorous speech. It's because it's you got like this beginning and a middle and then like that end and then you kind of like usually end with that callback. So it's a very heavily humorous speech.
Is the speech a dialogue or a monologue?
It's a monologue, but you have to anticipate some dialogue
Okay.
for that crowd work.
Ah, okay. I'm seeing some sweet spot action going on here.
Yes.
Okay. So, advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast to get the message out today. See you soon.
Oh, the magician. Okay. The magician advertises themselves more because they have like an assistant. They've got like
Ah,
this,
the assistant.
huge show, this like major stage presence with props. And now I'm
This
thinking of
is.
Carrot Top. Okay.
Does he have an assistant?
Some
Or I,
magicians do. A lot of them do. They have their assistant, like their lovely assistant. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm thinking of Carrot Top as an example. Gallagher. I don't think he had an assistant, or they had assistants, even though they have props. I do remember their stagehands, but I guess that counts, right?
Yeah, because they were what, comedians and magicians at the same time in a sense, in a way,
Absolutely.
weren't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, 100%. I mean, arguably they were more comedian, but I put him in the magic category as well. So
Yes, because they had their props and yeah, they made us laugh.
yeah, when you have a funny prop, you're in a whole other world. Now that arguably can also be the comic, right? Because we have comic books, comic strips. So whenever you have that kind of externalization, that
Yeah.
also I can argue is the comic too. So maybe a comic magician.
Okay, a comic magician. Okay.
So
Do we have
is
a comic book character like that? A comic magician character in the comic books?
um not that I know of. I mean, there's where Gambit, he uses the cards as the playing cards as explosives, but that's not really a magician, even though they're playing
Okay.
cards, which I don't I think if you have superhero powers, you're
Yeah.
like automatically a magician. Is that true? Is that truth a meaningful fact?
Yeah, it is. Because like to us, superpowers are magical, right?
Absolutely, they're unexplained science. Yeah, I would definitely argue that.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they've got superpowers and magical powers. Yeah, they are.
But they would never call themselves a magician, right? They're just a
No,
superhero.
they're
Yeah.
superheroes.
Superheroes don't call themselves magicians, they call themselves
They don't. They're
superheroes.
superheroes with magical powers.
So is self promotion seen as selling out or is it necessary for survival?
No, it's necessary for survival because you can't count on others to do it. You got to be your biggest cheerleader.
Right. So, how about censorship and offense? Does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point, like a magician?
Hmm. Some people say certain provocative things to keep themselves relative and in the news. True. I would say probably the comic more so than the comedian. I think and the way I'm seeing is that the comic really just is kind of like, I really don't care what you think of me.
Hmm.
Go ahead and
Okay.
cancel me all you want.
And the comedian does care?
I think so. I think because the comedian is more they're more the crafted work, correct?
I would argue that, yeah.
So yeah, so I think
It doesn't
they're
mean it's good, though. They could be crafted and bad, right? It's
that too.
possible. Or a style it's not, you don't like, it's not funny. A lot of people could, Norm Macdonald was crafted, but a lot of people are like, what is this?
I know, yeah. He was funny though.
Right. But definitely different. And it was, I would argue it was crafted. I don't consider it comedic, but, or comic version.
Yeah.
So, so who survives better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
Oh, the mudslinger
Hmm.
survives is the toughest, I think. Yeah. Is that like like a mudslinger? They're kind of like a person who starts crap. Are they stirring the pot? Are they the pot stir?
I mean, there's something going on there. They're definitely, I don't know if they can survive because they started the whole thing.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So, timing and delivery, science or art? So, do comics rely more on structure and comedians more on rhythm and emotion?
I think comedians rely more on structure.
Okay. So,
And then
what about rhythm and emotion?
rhythm and emotion. Rhythm and emotion is more, comedians are more into emotion. And then I would say the comic is more into rhythm.
Okay. They could all be above, all of the above as well, but I'll definitely go with that. Go with you on that because comics obviously have, if you're doing comic strips or the superhero magician, you got to keep that joke going, right?
That's right.
So, laughter versus applause. Are comics chasing laughs and comedians chasing applause breaks that validate the message?
Comedians, I think comedians want more of the laughter because that shows that the audience is understanding them.
Hmm.
And that's
Okay.
like that more validation for them. Absolutely.
All right. All right. So, comedy is commentary. When does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
Ooh, okay. Some people would argue, of course, George Carlin wasn't a comedian, that he was a philosopher because he was
Hmm.
just extremely brilliant. Um, hmm. We said philosopher, and what was the other term?
Or a preacher?
Preacher. Oh, hmm. Don't be, like, okay, like some of the comedians who might get on stage and I guess they get on their soapbox and they're trying to
Mhm.
change people's views. That's when they're going into that preacher territory.
Does it have to be religious to be preacher?
Maybe not.
Because I would argue that's the comedian's job is the agenda to to convince people of some absurdity that you think is normal. Would you agree?
Yeah,
No. Okay.
yeah, I guess so, but yeah, as long as they don't do it in a preachy way,
Hmm.
it's not about, like trying to change people's mindsets. I think it's about getting people to understand your view more so. Like,
Okay.
you should relate, like, you see what I'm saying, right? And that's what makes it even more funny is that because we can
Right.
relate to it.
Or we can't, and we think it's absurd, right?
True. Yeah, then we can't relate. We're like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
In a funny way. So is that good or does it dilute the humor?
I think it's good because it challenges people's preconceptions and perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I never thought of it like that. Like, hey, I really wasn't into that. I didn't agree with it, but now I'm gonna, think about it some more. So, thank you for opening my eyes to that and a different perspective and how something could be.
Well, how about alien human hybrid relationships?
Hmm. You believe in aliens?
Have you seen my hat?
I believe in aliens.
Right. So how
I do.
about alien human hybrid relationships?
Yeah.
I mean, the
I,
children are the hybrid, obviously.
I'm all for it.
Okay. Well, that's
I
a new
think the aliens
perspective.
are smarter than us, though, so it'd be a good thing.
What if they lack as much empathy as we do?
Um, what, they lack empathy? Aliens?
Some,
Oh no,
yeah. What if,
I
what
don't think
if?
they do. I think they are.
Okay.
I wouldn't think they were an alien if they lacked empathy.
Oh, I see. Okay. You're going with the demonic option?
I'm not. I think, yeah, I think aliens are. I'm sure they're just highly intelligent and highly empathetic.
Hopefully, most of I would. That's the one I would deal with. Otherwise, I would stay far away from any other versions, right?
I know that's right.
So, comedy and vulnerability. I would argue that comics hide behind their jokes and comedians expose themselves. If you agree, which one is braver?
Oh, you know what? I would say comedians because they're putting themselves out there
Hmm.
and not they're not hiding it.
Do you
So I
think
think that takes
comics
them more
are
braver.
hiding?
Yeah,
Right.
because you said because they kind of like hide behind it.
But do you
Like
agree that they hide behind their jokes?
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so we have a tradition here on the Comedians and Elevators podcast where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And
Okay.
so the previous guest was Sadiq Panimi, and his question to you, Marnie, but he doesn't know you yet on the podcast, is
Okay.
what is the most refreshing morsel or rewarding thing you get from comedy? What gift does it provide?
Okay. So telling funny jokes, getting on stage, and making people laugh and smile, that is very rewarding for me because it makes me high. And it not
Okay.
only does it like it validates my thoughts and my ideas, but it challenges other people's ideas and gives them, excuse me, like a new like outlook, a new light. A light bulb has gone off about something else and might impress them or inspire them to do something about it or even follow their hobby or follow their heart for something like that. So it makes them smile, laugh, and I think it inspires them too. And that makes me high.
So do you have trouble sleeping after a show?
I do for like good reasons because I'm so high. I'm like, oh boy, I got to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
first time I did comedy, I was like on a high for like 2 weeks.
Right. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So that's quite an ordeal. I mean, that's a good thing though. But you were able to sleep that first night,
Not really, because I was just so excited. I was just like, oh wow, I can't believe I did that. And
right?
it was almost like a drug. Like, oh, I gotta do
Mm.
that again.
All right. So last question, legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Type 5 survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
The comedian's cultural point of view is timeless
All
because
right.
it's really talking to like the human experience. And the human experience for the most part is timeless.
I'll go with that. So Marnie, where can everyone find you online?
Oh, they can find me on YouTube under Marn Dizzle. That's one word, Marn Dizzle.
Okay.
MarnDizzle. Marn Dizzle. Ooh.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Marnie, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everybody else, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you so much. Peace out, y'all.